Question for panel. Do you believe in dismantling whiteness? Despite your answer, well, we can only do like really one question per message. So we'll do the first one. Do you believe in dismantling whiteness? Go ahead.
Yes, of course. And I think dismantling whiteness is kind of a conservative buzz phrase to sound offensive. Like when we say dismantling whiteness, no one's talking about stopping being white, obviously. Like, no shit. That's like, we can't control that. We're talking about dismantling the systems that continue to perpetuate putting white people first. That's all that means. And yes, we do need to continue to dismantle that. We've been doing that, but we're not done.
I have a follow-up question on that, but I'll let the rest of the panelists answer. Go ahead. If we look at other countries that have, for example, a different race as the majority, take for China, for example, do you think that there ought to be a movement in China, for example, to equalize the racial representation in that country?
To be quite honest with you, I'm not familiar with the culture of living in China.
Oh, now all of a sudden you don't know the culture that you're talking about. And this is the problem I have with liberals, especially the liberal white woman. And you know I do not like talking about race, but there's something about the liberal white woman that is very annoying because they all say nonsense like this. If we were to follow your logic to its logical conclusion, you should say the same thing about China and you wouldn't have to know their culture. But of course, you know the implications of what you're saying. You now say that you don't know enough about the culture to speak on it. Make it make sense.
9% Chinese.
I'm sure it is 99% Chinese. What I'm saying is I'm not sure. I don't live in their society. I don't know if their society is geared in such a way that if you're not Chinese, that you have less advantages in the society.
Well,
I don't live there.
I
can only speak to the society I live in, and I can say white people do have advantages in this society. In China, I don't live there, but sure, if it's set up so that the people who are like Chinese they get way more advantages than people who happen to be black but live in China, then sure, there should be one there too. But I don't live there, so I'd rather speak about what I'm educated about, and I am educated about where I live.
That's fair. I think to get at the heart of Brian's question, I'll ask a different one in the same vein. So Japan has a staunch immigration policy. They don't want people who are not Japanese to immigrate into Japan. They want to keep it majority Japanese. Is that a wrongful policy from your perspective?
I mean, the policy in itself, yes. However, I would need to understand why that. I don't know why that policy exists.
Because they want to keep it Japanese. That's the motivation.
If it's just simply because they want pure Japanese blood, then 100% that's wrong.
So then you would apply the same logic to Israel.
I mean,
we're not.
I'm just asking.
I mean, I know we weren't allowed to talk.
We're not going to dive into it. I'm just asking if you would apply the same logic there.
I would apply the same logic that if there's any place where you have to look a certain way to have an advantage, and that is the only reason you get that advantage, and that you naturally will be disadvantaged simply because of the way you're born, whether that's your gender, whether that's your color, whether it's anything, that is not right. And I believe everyone should have an equal opportunity to be successful in any given society.
So one question for you then. So you would then be in favor of Europeans, white Americans, moving to Japan, attempting to gain positions of political power in Japan. Would you be in favor of that?
If they were someone of European descent who's lived in Japan for a decade or more, and if they've never been there before, know nothing about the country, then no. I also don't think that someone who knows nothing about America should become the president.
The amount of backtracking this woman is doing is amazing. And the reason she's doing all of this backtracking is because she's being backed into a corner and her logic is being used against her. This world is not all sunshine and rainbows, and policies like the ones that you're advocating for are just stupid policies. Who determines whether someone needs to know enough about the country to be able to get into certain positions of power? Because we now have countries where people don't know anything about the countries and they're allowed to do certain things, and your ideology promotes that. But of course, what do you care?
I think but I don't think the color of your skin determines how knowledgeable you are. If you grew up there and you're of European descent, you should have equal opportunity to be in power.
Depends how they use that power as well.
That's true.
Going to Japan with malicious intent.
Wouldn't you still want people who just got to the United States yesterday to be represented?
I want them to be represented, yeah, but do I want them to lead the country if they've never lived here before and don't know what the average plight is for the average person on the streets? No, I think they should be their voices should be heard, but that's why the president is not our ultimate ruler. That's why we have a system of checks and balances.
I'm with you.
They could totally be in the House of Representatives or represent us on a more local level, like on a city council. Awesome.
On the
great.
on the representation front.
But yeah.
Let's say Japan opens it up to immigrants coming into Japan, which they've recently done. This is because they have an aging out elder population, enough young people take care of them. So they're opening up work visas to come into Japan.
Before we get back into the video, I need everyone to turn on their post notifications so that you get notified whenever one of my videos come out. Like the video as much as possible, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Twitter at YinkaThatGuy. Let us get back into the video.
Those people are not Japanese citizens. They don't get the same rights as Japanese. Is that okay or not okay from your estimation?
That's okay. I mean, I think you earned. I do believe in earnings, and that's
They're
a whole
not
other
ever going to
topic.
give them citizenship.
But I'm just like, if you were not born there and you're coming over for a work visa or a student visa or something, yeah, I don't think you should necessarily be able to choose who's in power if that's not where you're investing your family. Like, if you're investing
What if
your
they're there
life,
for
your
10,
money,
20
like you're
years?
investing in the local economy, you're having kids
Yeah.
in this town, like you're invested in this place, you should have complete equal opportunities to vote and have opportunity to be in power as well. But if you're just there because you have a temp job, you're going back to the States in a few months, I mean, sure, you shouldn't have
Years.
as many rights.
So if they're coming in, let's say they're there for 10 years.
I think if you're there for 10 years, you should be able to have a say, for sure.
For sure.
Because at this point, you've contributed to the community. You're
What
part of
if
that
you came
community.
in, though, with the understanding that they did not ever want you to have a say?
If you come in with that understanding, then sure, because you agreed to that.
Yeah.
But like,
So is there anything actually
I think people come to America
fundamentally-
with the understanding they're going to be able to participate.
Yeah,
then
no, I understand.
So it's different.
So there's nothing you actually think is fundamentally immoral about Japan wanting to keep itself Japanese?
Not necessarily, but again, it's way more nuanced than that. Like I do believe that if you have been a part of that culture and you're ingrained in that culture, I do think that. Especially if you were born there, is what I'm saying. Not like you made a choice as an adult and you agreed to these rules. Like you were born there, you just happen to be a white guy that was born there. You should be able to be in power and not be not be
Hannah
elected.
Louise
you know?
donated $200.
So just at the heart of this,
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up
Americans
real
should
quick.
decide what America does. If you are not American, then STFU of a country should decide
Well, that's what I'm
they
saying.
do.
Is I'm saying they have the right to do that because if I'm choosing to
Thank you,
go
Derry.
to Japan, I'm agreeing to your rules. But I'm saying if I was born in Japan looking the way I look, I think I should have the same rights as someone else.
So if the Japanese were to say, and I'll just button it up with this
Yeah.
answer, if they were to say, we don't want any immigrants from any other nations to come into the nation, we want it to remain purely Japanese.
then I'd have to respect that. Like
Yeah.
I, but
So they're
I
not doing
for
anything immoral
for
by
my
doing
country
that.
as an American, I want other cultures here personally. But yeah, if that's what they want, that's not my culture. I'm not going to go pry and say, "Fuck you, I deserve to be here." Like you know what? I respect that. There's plenty of places in the world I'd like to visit that they might not like me there, and that's just the way it is. And it's okay.
I also think in a perfect world, it would be immoral for us to block us from traveling and going places, but I don't see any way to actually put that into action. So it makes me feel like, what's the point in saying that or thinking that? But I do feel like,
I don't know what that means.
like, in a perfect world, like if we were brought here or born here, whatever this is, like, I feel like we were set up, like we're supposed to be happy and things are supposed to be easy for everyone. And I don't know at this point in time how that could realistically happen. So I don't know. We have to go with the systems we already have in place. So it's about making it, if like people want, like she said, if people want to live there and invest their lives, or if they're born there, they should have rights. But if it's just a traveling thing now, like we can't really. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
But if a system existed
I
in
don't-
which a culture said, we do not want any outsiders anywhere near this, and it was a well-developed nation, you
I
wouldn't
feel
actually
like-
have any objections to that.
No, in my heart of hearts, I feel like that is immoral.
She just said a whole bunch of nothing. And if it's the case that a country doesn't want other people to come in, how in the blue hell is that immoral? And I know just by listening to a lot of these people, she's not going to have a justifiable reason as to why she thinks it's immoral. It's just going to be based on she feels bad, therefore immoral.
Just don't
Why?
feel-
Yeah, why?
Because it's
you
honestly
feel
it
it?
is an emotional feel. Like it's I just really do love people.
But do you
But I
base-
understand that it's not possible
Yeah,
in
do you
this world
base
we live
morals, though, on
No.
just how you feel?
on. No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like that's something why I said I don't even know if it's worth bringing up, but it is something I think about often and wish more people would be willing to talk about. Like what would that possibility look like? And I don't know if that's idealist or something, but I still think that if we get to that route, like if we really could all just coexist in the world, like I don't understand. You know what I'm trying to say? I know it's
An ideal world is no one owns the earth and we all get along, but the truth of the matter is that's not the society we live in. So I completely respect if another culture doesn't want me there. Would it bum me out?
Yeah.
Sure. But like I completely
agree.
respect that. But I, as an American living in America right now, like I have, and as a woman who does have the right to vote because women fought and so hard for that, like I'm
didn't fight
so
hard for it,
excited.
no. They really didn't.
I just, like, the more you guys talk, the more so
Okay.
grateful I am to be a lesbian, man.
Bro, for real, like, baby.
On behalf of men everywhere, so
it's
are
a,
we.
it's called the history books, sweetie. Look it up.
Like, yeah, I just
know
women
you're
definitely
joking. I know
fought
you're
for the
joking.
rights we have, for sure. We fought for it, so that's indisputable. I don't even want to argue
we
about
can get
that.
into some of that stuff
but-
later.
To put a button on all this, something I think that we can all agree on is to celebrate the fact that we are in the most thriving democracy in the world. And I feel like with many...
We're not in a democracy.
We're a republic.
Okay, to you know, like all of these topics, people don't want to see the nuance, and I just personally don't feel like we're in the, like racism doesn't exist or we're in a racist country. It's like, yes, we're not where we want to be, but just like the feminism thing, it's like, let's applaud how far we've come.
I think we were having a pretty nuanced conversation, honestly.
yeah.
Well,
That's-
no, I'm not saying it was
It
a
was
nuance,
pretty
but I'm saying
nuanced.
it seems to be in the binary of like, you know, white patriarchy it runs everything,
Well, you're
and
going
the
to have.
systems, and you
so
know what
you're
I
gonna,
mean.
if you, in order to have discourse, we're going to have descriptors that we can apply to reality.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. So if you say, okay, we need to have nuance, I agree. A lot of these things have nuance. They're they're multifaceted. They're multi-tiered. All of that's true. But if I have a descriptor, you know what heuristics are. So heuristics work because they work as descriptors for us to have conversations
fine.
to get to the nuance.
I'm saying we tend to be in a lot of these topics, again, common sense in the binary of this or that, but back to what I originally said, would you not agree with that? The general kind of toss out I put out there
No.
of where we're at? Why not?
No, I don't. So for one thing, I don't think we're arguing around the edges. I think
No. I'm asking if you're debating like the idea that I've thrown out. That we're
okay,
in,
well, let's
we're
make
in a
sure I get your
democracy.
idea correct. What am I missing? What is your idea?
To celebrate how we're in the freest country in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are not where, you know, we have a complicated past, complex past. We're no longer in that past. We've made, you know, a lot of way, but we're not where we want to be. We got a little ways to go.
Yeah, so
I think
first
it's
of
not
all,
that
I think
complicated.
we need to untangle a couple things. The first
Okay.
is, how did you establish that this is the freest country in the world?
Why wouldn't it be?
And for all those who watch my videos and those who are subscribed to the channel, this is what I mean by there are so many low IQ individuals on this earth. Him asking you the question as to how you came to the conclusion that you came to and you saying, why wouldn't it be, is not an argument. I would respect her more if she just said, I don't know, it was just some arbitrary standard I came up with and that's how I came to the standard I came to. But of course, because these people are too prideful, she asked him a question when he asked her a question.
That's not an answer to the question. That's begging the question.
It is the freest country in the world.
Oh, well, that's a declarative statement, but not a demonstration. How do we establish it is?
What you said.
Other countries
said
have
it.
constitutions.
I mean, free speech.
Other
right to
countries
bear
have free
arms.
speech.
I don't know. I guess
We have more
I haven't
freedom
gone enough
than-
places to really know if they're free or not. I only know based
What's on
on
the
what
media.
I see, what I'm fed by the
Right.
media. So
well, I just want to
can't
let you know
truly
that that's a neat slogan to say.
Yeah.
We're the freest country in the world. But I seem to remember that there was lockdowns, and it didn't feel like it was all
That's
that free.
true. That's
so
true.
the thing is
But
not
name
only
a country freer.
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
only that.
name a country freer.
Not
Sweden.
only that. Well, wait. The most free country in the world probably would be Somalia.
And this is what manipulative people do. She was the one who made the claim that America is the freest country on earth, and then he asked her to substantiate that, and she can't do it, and then asks him what is the freest country when the question was posed to you and he wasn't the one who made the claim that America is the most freest country in the world. But anyway, that was another video. If you guys enjoyed the video, like the video as much as possible, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram and X at YinkaThatGuy, and I am out.